my name is Noemi Chavez, and I am thrilled to share with urban youth workers today just on this amazing ability that we have as leaders to shape and build and grow leaders for the future. When I speak to youth workers, I feel like if I'm speaking to lead pastors, because literally you are pastoring young people that we will later pastor as adults. And so you are already taking that role and that place in their life. Now, one of the greatest ways in which we can train youth workers is by basically doing life with them, having them see some of the things that we're doing in life, how we are making choices, how we're moving forward in our personal, in our professional, in our spiritual life. Making them a part of those conversations is going to grow them significantly. Now the scripture says in 2 Chronicles 11:17, they strengthened the kingdom of Judah and supported Rehoboam, the son of Solomon, for 3 years. For they walked in the way of David and Solomon for 3 years. Like time and time again, once again in 2 Chronicles 20:32, it says, he walked in the way of his father Asa and did not depart from it, doing what was right in the sight of the Lord. So the Bible clearly gives us the indication that there are people who are going to watch how you're doing things, how you're serving, how you're leading, and they will become imitators of what you have done. And so sometimes I think the easy thing to do is to say, oh, I don't want any attention drawn to me. I don't want people to feel like if I'm trying to glory myself in my decisions or how good I am at what I do. And it sounds a little bit more like false humility maybe, because the scripture actually teaches us in the book of Philippians 3:14, the Apostle Paul writes, and he says, brethren, join in following my example and observe those who walk accordingly to the pattern you have in us. So he's giving us the permission to say, hey, I've kind of figured this part out. Go ahead and learn from what I've done. Learn from the decisions I'm making. Now, I want to give you some practical ideas on how you can do that even with your youth ministry, because this is some of how I do it with people that I'm raising as leaders in my local church. So, when you're leading youth group, it's going to demand so much of your time, so much of your energy, and the commitment, the weekly commitment to the kids is definitely valuable and important. And sometimes it's as simple and as plain as maybe you're going to college. And I remember what those years were like when I was going to college and I had multiple jobs and I was a youth worker. I was actually a volunteer. I never was on staff at a church as a youth worker. And so I knew what it was like, and I was dating my husband, which just made things even more complicated. But he's awesome. I love him. But I am going to tell you that the whole idea of dating and leading youth group and trying to maybe lead in your families sometimes gets a little messy and sticky. But your youth that are watching you, the ones you are raising to grow and be leaders on the team, should be invited into some of those conversations. So let's say on a Tuesday, Wednesday night after youth group, you're used to going out with them to grab some ice cream, and you just love to get to hang out with them and have some, I don't know, Cheetos, hot Cheetos with cheese is what some of the kids like a lot these days. And you've got school the next day. And so sometimes you feel guilty because you want to hang out with them and you've got a final that you have to study for. Let me tell you, telling your youth and your kids, hey guys, I got to get you back home earlier today because I've got to study for an exam. You are leading in that. That right there is shaping how they view not only ministry because you were there, but it's going to give them a value of priorities and goals and dreams that is going to shape them as leaders for the future, that you can do multiple things at once, and those things will cause for them to become more well-rounded adults. You are serving them on multiple layers, and the same goes for maybe having to be home with your family or making time to be with your kids. Allowing them to hear these things is shaping them, and it's growing them in their spiritual journey, and it's going to give them a glimpse into what leadership looks like, so that when they take the lead, they make some tough choices wisely. Now, another way that you can grow leaders is when you come to an amazing conference like the Urban Youth Workers Conference. It's just, when you come to an amazing conference like UYWI, you are going to want to share and bring all this information to the kids. Now, I attend conferences throughout the country, and what I do often to shape and grow the leaders in my church is I sit with them and I share what I learned at the conference. Sometimes the easy thing to do is bring the information as if though it was my personal revelation and as if though I am that spiritually brilliant that I came up with these ideas. And it grows them to actually hear you say, I'm excited about what I learned. And you sit and you share maybe some of the phrases the speakers shared on, maybe a book you've been introduced to, maybe some of the topics that were shared in a track, whatever it might be. You're teaching them the value of being excited about learning. So sometimes, obviously, you'll get some of this stuff and you'll use it just to teach the class. And that's fine, because I do that too. I'll listen to a great conference, I'll be inspired, and I'll come and teach it to my church. But when it comes to the leaders that I am growing and that I am nurturing and that I'm seeing, flourish in God's house and in the kingdom, I want them to see that everything that I know is not because I'm so brilliant. I want them to know that I am committed to learning. I want them to see how that information has grown me. And as it's grown me, they grow right next to me. And so that could be whether you're at a conference or maybe a podcast you listen to, or maybe something you heard the Spirit whisper into your mind or into your heart while you were in your devotional time, whatever day. I'm not going to judge you. If you're not a morning person, I'm with you, neither am I. Whatever time you have your devotion with the Lord, if God speaks to you, share with them, look what I read and look what I felt God speaking to me. If you heard a podcast, if you read a chapter in a book, allow them to have a beautiful aha moment with you. That is going to grow them. And that also lets them know that you are inviting them into your personal space with God, and it becomes all the more so powerful. So I just really want to encourage you to these small little things that are going to influence the way that you lead. They're going to influence the way kids view ministry. It's going to influence the choices and decisions that they make. And it's really going to encourage a spirit of growth in them. And it's going to also bring a closeness to you as a leader and as a discipler that is going to shape their lives truly in the way that God is shaping yours. And you begin to see that reflection. I love it when some of the people that I am leading come up to me and they say, oh, I got to share with you this YouTube video. It messed me up this morning. God used it to minister to me. Like, I love it because they're not coming to me with the information as if though it became their personal revelation, but they're coming and saying, I leaned in and I listened to something that would speak life into me, and I want to share it with you because it's going to speak life into you as well. And you will be blown away by what some of these young kids will come across. They'll want to share with you because it's going to breathe life into you as well. So let's be encouraged. Let's lead with love. Let's lead with time and compassion and care. Let's make the space to allow ourselves not only to imitate Christ, but for others to be imitators of the beautiful gospel that's been entrusted in us and the journey that God is writing out in our own lives. God bless you guys. Have an awesome, awesome day.